In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed.
Why is Nicky Minaj talking about Nigerian Christians at the United Nations? That's because President Trump claims that there is a mass slaughter of Nigerian Christians and the Nigerian government is allowing it to happen. He has threatened to send in U.S. troops,
guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities.
But Nigeria denies this. It says this is a terrorism problem and Christians and Muslims are both getting killed.
Protecting Christians in Nigeria is not about taking sides or dividing people. It is about uniting humanity.
President Trump's own Africa advisor, Masad Boulos, a Lebanese-American businessman who made his fortune in Nigeria, previously said that more Muslims than Christians were getting killed by Boko Haram and other terrorist groups.
People are suffering from all sorts of backgrounds. This is not specifically targeted about one group or the other.
The issue of the persecution of Nigerian Christians was first raised by a separatist group in the country. It made its way to the U.S. right and eventually directly to President Trump.
So American rapper Nicky Minaj Petty, also known as Nicky Minaj, will be speaking at a United Nations event in New York where she's expected to address reported jihadist attacks on Christians in Nigeria. Ms. Minaj will appear alongside the UN, Michael Waltz and Alex Brozovitz, an advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump and the convener of the event. Confirming this report, which was first revealed on Sunday by Time Magazine's senior political correspondent Eric Cortesella via his X handle, Ambassador Michael Waltz praised the artist, describing her as not only arguably the greatest female recording artist, but also a principled individual who refuses to remain silent in the face of injustice. Let's talk to our correspondent in Washington now, Maria Bird. She joins us live. Maria, why is Nicky Minaj interested in the insecurity in Nigeria? Because as far as we know, Nicky Minaj is not Nigerian, has not traced her DNA to this part of the world.
Yes, you are correct. This is a very interesting piece. I think many Americans were also a bit surprised, but also knowing how heavy of a important role Nigerians play within the entertainment industry and some of her own personal ties to many Nigerian entertainers. And so, and this obviously has struck a chord with many in the United States as it relates to what is being considered by the president an area of concern and the killing of what he has called Christians killings across Nigeria. And so I think this is, her way of being able to express kind of where the sentiments are with many entertainers in the community.
Now, is it possible that she is being used by some group to execute some kind of agenda with Nigeria? I mean, this does seem like a far reach, but is it possible, Maria?
Well, I think that this, that as you mentioned, it could be a bit of a far reach, but I think that we will see tomorrow once the address occurs. We also know that on November the 20th, the Foreign Affairs Committee will also be addressing what the president has called an area of concern. And so I think only time, honestly, will tell what this will end up being after tomorrow and into the 20th. And so for this to be happening tomorrow, which is the 18th, and then just 2 days later, we will be seeing Congress covering this. This just does show that this is something that I think many Americans will be continuing to watch. And as you mentioned, her going before the UN is definitely outside of what I think many would have considered to have been her stance in this area.
It does take it global, doesn't it? She's not speaking to U.S. congressmen, she's speaking to the UN. How are Americans reacting to this news, and what do they think is going on in Nigeria?
Well, Well, I think Americans are very clear that some of the concerns are not just Christians, they're also Muslim killings as well. And so I think that Americans have been, as we've seen in the past with Boko Haram, many congressional members, especially very early on with the Chibok girls, were very clear to have a stay and a stance in that. But really, it was around terrorism in the region. That was the main concern of many congressional members, and I think it still continues to be the concern. But obviously, we know that the president has been very clear about his stance. This has now moved to Congress. There are bills that are being presented before Congress as it relates to the designation of Nigeria as an area of concern. And so we also know that the president does have a clear eye on building relationships in the continent. And so as we look at Nigeria being one of the most powerful countries in the continent, obviously from a wealth perspective, one of the most integral parts and critical roles as it relates to business relationships. And so it'll be interesting to see how this further continues to play out as we move forward. As we also know that the president will highly likely also have a visit, whether or not the president does come to the U.S. We know that former President Buhari did come during the former Trump administration. So I think this is all panning out before our eyes, but I think there's obviously, as you've mentioned, there's a much larger picture to this as a whole.
Maria, thanks again for bringing us up to speed on this. We'll be sure to watch out for Nicki Minaj's address to the UN.